Hi guys, Shay from the SC Stock Shop here. I know that you are faced with a ton of different options when it comes to styled stock these days, and it can be hard to decide when the investment is worth it. Our vision behind the images that we create at the Stock Shop are that they are not just images that become disposable that you can use once or twice on Instagram and then they're gone. Our vision is to create images for you that you can build your entire brand around. So the images that become the core components of your brand across all of the different touch points. So I'm going to take you on a little tour today of 3 of our friends' sites that are users of the shop doing a fantastic job, and I think would really be inspiring and would also give you some ideas for how to get the most out of your images, how to build a consistent look across all platforms using just a small collection of images, whether you're using a brand builder set of pre-curated images from the shop, or if you're working with just a selection of images that you've chosen from the SC Stock Shop that all fall within a specific color palette. I have a few friends that are doing a fantastic job at this. One of them is also going to give you some tips on how to increase site traffic through the use of styled stock photography. So come along with me. I'm going to take you on a little tour. Get a pen and a piece of paper because you're probably going to get some ideas for how you can better, more effectively use the stock images that you already own. And hopefully we'll introduce you to some new ways of really creating a beautiful, cohesive brand with the use of imagery, really bringing that brand to life.
Let's start by taking a look at Courtney Kirkland's website. Courtney has done something really, really cool with one of our favorite styled stock images that I want to draw your attention to and maybe give you some ideas. So Courtney pulled what is one of my favorite styled stock images from our Happy Poppy desktop collection. You'll see that here we have a full desktop image, and then there's a corresponding set of images that we think we've created to all go together to give you a cohesive set of imagery that you could use across your brand. So we sell those in our shop. They're called brand builder sets, but any of those images can be purchased individually as well. But what is so cool that Courtney Kirkland has done is that as she did her rebranding, she actually pulled in one tiny little element of the floral bouquet that was in our Happy Poppy desktop collection, and she actually used it within her logo design, which just blew us away. Looks absolutely so beautiful and brings that logo design to life. So then from there, what we see is that Courtney has built her entire brand around that styled stock image and the color palette in that styled stock image. And we're going to see that consistently across Courtney's homepage of her site. So just a few things to give you some ideas. She's used a portion of that image in her actual logo design. In addition to that, she does a really great job of using a little zoom in from that same styled stock image as a part of her email opt-in here at the top of her homepage. So email opt-ins are a very important part of your website. You definitely want to capture email addresses so that you can be in communication with the people who are visiting your site. But instead of just having a silly little opt-in box with asking for their email and their name, why not have a gorgeous image behind it? Courtney did a fantastic job with that email opt-in. And then we see another image from that collection, from the Happy Poppy desktop collection. This was a loose poppies image, and Courtney has just stunningly, if that's a word, created not a triptych, but whatever 4 parts would be. She's used the same image and broken it into 4 parts to create 4 beautiful custom buttons on the homepage of her site. So she has her start here, read the blog, faith and prayer, and branding and design. And she's used one image, broken it into 4 different parts for not only 4 different custom buttons, but also just a beautiful visual down here at the bottom of her site. And again, we see 2 different images from the same collection, from the same brand builder set, and then secondary images that can go with that brand builder set, all of that in her beautiful peachy coral color palette. And then another fun thing is that as a part of her web design and branding, she actually has sort of a second brand called Sweet Southern Media. And what she's done here is you're going to see an image with a completely different feel, giving this entire brand a completely different feel than her site, all with a different use of imagery. And I just think that's really cool. She used one of our neutral desktops and sort of built this separate brand around the color palette and aesthetic of this brand, of this specific brand builder image. Just a really cool, very different use of a brand, and you see instantly how an image can really change the aesthetic of a brand. We thought that was pretty cool how she did that. If you haven't visited her site before, you'll see a pop-up that comes up where she's used the same styled stock image or an image from that same set. You'll see down here in this bottom right-hand page an invitation to go visit the Facebook page where you can see the use of that same image so that when somebody visits that Facebook page, they know that they're in the right place, and even something as ugly as Facebook can become beautifully branded just with the use of a styled stock image. So fantastic job there in both cases with both Sweet Southern Media and her Courtney Kirkland site. You see that the image that she chose just absolutely brings the page to life, which is really cool. A second brand that we're going to look at is Megan Martin Creative. And Megan Martin is another fantastic example of taking a brand builder set of images and using it across every touch point of her brand. But I just want to give you a few ideas that you can maybe use on your own site. Here she's used it as her homepage header. If you have a blog, the desktops like this, the full style desktops, are great for that kind of space, whether it's on a Facebook header or a blog post header or website header. The images where we've styled the desktop all the way across a horizontal image are really perfect and specifically created for that. So she's done that well there, and she outlines exactly what you're going to get when you visit her shop here by overlaying a little bit of text on that image. Then in her homepage slider, she's going to draw your attention to a few of her popular posts. Styled stock imagery is a great way to do that. Here she's advertising her webinar. She's advertising a recent blog post about her new website. All of it using styled stock that's just in the same color palette. Now, another thing that she does really well that's a really helpful tip for you all is when you are thinking about driving traffic to your site through your blog content. We obviously know that SEO is important and keyword use is important, but another great way to draw traffic to your blog is going to be through pinnable images. We know that, but a few things you might not know is that maybe you've noticed that Pinterest favors vertical images. Vertical images get much more repins than horizontal images. And Pinterest also favors images that have compelling text on them. So one thing that Megan has done really well that you guys can think about doing is incorporating a vertical image in your blog post that has descriptive text that would make someone want to click to read that information in that blog post. So when we visit the post now, we're going to see the full beautiful image that she's used here, and it's going to have nice enticing text. Of course you want to join her for a free webinar, and depending on the content of that blog post, this becomes a very, very pinnable image driving lots of traffic to your site. Beautiful use of a vertical image. And actually this image that she's using here was not originally a vertical image. It was a horizontal image that she has simply just cropped into a vertical. So keep that in mind. Even though a lot of the desktops in our shop are horizontal, you can crop anything into a vertical, and we've shot those images at such a high resolution that they're going to be stunning. They're going to be sharp and crisp and detailed, no matter how close you zoom into it. So that's kind of one of the things we do to make sure that you get a lot of usability out of your images. Now, a few more quick things I just want to draw your attention to give you some ideas. She's inviting people to join her on Instagram here, and she's done that by creating a little grid of images that sort of mimics what her Instagram feed is going to look like. And in that, she's used a few different styled stock images, all in her color palette. So if you're inviting people to join you on Instagram, consider making a graphic and using either a singular styled stock image or collection of images mirroring a beautiful Instagram feed. If we keep scrolling down, we're going to see that she has used, just like we saw on the other site, she has an invitation here to go visit her Facebook page. We see a little screen grab of that, but what we see here and what attracts our eye is the use of this same desktop, which tells us we're in the right place. This is beautiful. This is going to be a really beautiful place to hang out. She's communicated that her brand is polished across all the different touch points. Just love that here on the sidebar. A little bit farther down on her sidebar, we see a beautiful custom button that she's created. Now, you can use styled stock in a variety of ways to create custom buttons. We saw on the page that we were just at, we saw the styled stock image being used as the actual button with text overlaid. Here we just see she's dropped a really beautiful image below the text, creating an entire button with text on top and the image below. So another just really beautiful seamless look. And if you look to the right, you see this branded image. You look to the left, you see another post that she's featuring. And of course, there at the top is another image from that same collection. Just again, communicating a cohesive look. And then she's got the double whammy here in that she's created another great Pinterest vertical, and this one is even a little bit elongated, which Pinterest really loves, and has some great text. The number one tool every blogger needs to stay on top of their game. Of course, you're going to want to click on that, and of course, you're going to want to pin it, and you're going to want to repin it, and all of that is going to drive traffic to your site. And then just one last thing I want to draw your attention to down here at the bottom is that she's used a tiny little part of a styled stock image, a part of that same set, as just a little like, hey, I haven't forgotten the bottom of this page either. Just something that draws your eye down and just kind of shows you that she has thought through every element of this site. So another fun way to incorporate a little part of a styled stock image would be down in the footer of your website. And then kind of as a little bonus, Megan also is a part of and co-founded something called the CoWork Creative, which is a creative space in Jacksonville, Florida. And she has used a completely different image to create branding for that site. And I want to give you guys a little tour of that real quick as well. So this is the CoWork Creative in Jacksonville. It has a black and white brand palette, primarily very classic, and it's all built around this image and a few other images that work really well with it. So her palette is a simple black and white with little touches of gold and little touches of natural elements, and we're going to see that she's selected a few styled stock images to help her kind of clearly communicate that. So she's actually printed up a few pieces of that styled stock image, which I just love. She's actually printed up the styled stock and it's hanging in her space. But in addition to that, let me draw your attention to a few quick things in addition to the homepage image. So if we go visit her contact form, she's used a little part of that same styled stock image zoomed in to give some visual interest to what would be an otherwise boring contact page. But who says your contact pages have to be boring? They don't have to be. And Megan has just, again, done a little crop in of an image within that black, white, and gold set, and it looks just beautiful and seamless. And then another fantastic place where we see them using a collection of images over and over again would be on the Instagram account for the CoWork Creative. So all within that clean black and white color palette, we're going to see the use of this styled stock image here with a little tiny touch of pink and gold and a lot of white negative space. She's used one of our iPad images, and it looks like she's advertising the actual website here. If we keep scrolling down, we see that she actually has used that same black, white, and gold desktop on some print collateral for the CoWork Creative, which is awesome. I love seeing styled stock images in print. I love when people do that. So that's pretty cool how she's done that, and then she's shared that here on Instagram. We see a close-up of another black, white, and gold styled stock image from the SC Stock Shop. Again, not the same image, but since it's in the same color palette, it looks perfectly cohesive. One thing I think is super cool is just like the way that we saw Courtney Kirkland use that tiny bit of the floral from the Happy Poppy desktop in her logo design, Megan has included a little tiny portion of our marble background from our marble desktops into some of the initial branding for the CoWork Creative. So we have this little marble background with their logo on top of it. It just looks so awesome. And again, that was actually a tiny little piece of a styled stock image from the SC Stock Shop. We see the consistent use of that original image that she kind of built the brand around here as they announced their CoWork Creative launch party. That was really cool. And then again, we're just going to see little close-ups, little zoom-ins of various black, white, and gold styled stock from the SC Stock Shop, all giving a beautifully cohesive look to this Instagram page. So hopefully those three ladies and what they're doing has given you some really good ideas for what you can do on your site to get more use out of your styled stock images, and how to go from maybe looking for disposable styled stock images to images that you can really, really build a brand around and really kind of build your whole brand presence around. So if you're wondering where to start, the best place that you can start would be to visit the Shop by Color page on the SC Stock Shop site. And that's really easy to get to if you go to our homepage and scroll past all this gorgeousness. You'll get to the Shop by Color. And if you click on Shop by Color, you're going to be presented with a collection of colors, and you can use your primary brand palette in mind and just start to click around and see if you see anything that is of interest to you. What we've done is we have cataloged things by color so that you can, in essence, go in here and find any number of images that would potentially all suit your brand, even though they're different images. So shopping by color is a really, really fun place to start when you're trying to find some quality imagery to build your entire brand around, or to communicate that cohesive color palette across a variety of touch points like your Facebook header, your Instagram account, your custom sidebar buttons and blog buttons and the like. So hopefully that has been really fun to kind of take a peek at how some other people are using it. And please let us know if there's anything that we can do to help you do business beautifully, friends. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.